Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and this is a case of, is he so good he's bad, or so bad he's good, because we're going to be taking a look at this guy. It could be interpreted, certainly, and the way he's released, as Decepticon Magnificus, though some people will look at this and say, no, that's actually Shattered Glass Perceptor. Whichever kind of interpretation you want to use, that's up to you, but any way you cut it, we're going to be taking a look at this latest Selects offering in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light up my baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all of the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the new generation's Selects Magnificus. And it's so interesting because this look and this body type is sometimes used, of course, as Decepticon Magnificus, which I think was established 2002, 2003, something like that. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But there are those who would also say, no. There's also precedent here for this to be Shattered Glass Perceptor. And I would get that. Obviously, this release is going to defer to him being Magnificus because he has a Decepticon logo here and up here. But you know what? If you had extra Shattered Glass Autobot logos, you could certainly cover those up to suit your taste. I want to get that out of the way before people start like noting in excess that, well, it's also Shattered Glass Perceptor. I'm aware, I know. But, you know, whichever interpretation you want, well, that's up to you. It's nice that we're getting kind of a mainline release of this. Yes, this recoloration of the original G1, like I said, was done, I want to say e-hobby maybe, in the early 2000s. And I think maybe in Japan, the RTS version, the one that turns into the half track, I think that also got a recoloration. But for kind of mainline around the world, certainly in North America, this is really something that fans have been clamoring for a long time. Is he good? Is he bad? Is there anything different here or more effective or less effective than it was with 86 Perceptor? Well, how about, without any further ado, we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes, indeed, here we have the Transformers Legacy Evolution, I guess Generation Selects Magnificus. Or if you prefer, it could be an iteration of Shattered Glass Perceptor. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the packaging, of course. It's Selects packaging. We do have the Legacy Evolution logo over there. It is plastic-free packaging. Over here we have the kind of schematic outline. You'll notice that the face is not the same face used on the earlier Selects Perceptor, or no, sorry, Studio Series 86 Perceptor. It is more of a toy accurate version of the face, which is cool. It's nice to have something be different about this guy other than the color. Plus, the iteration of this guy does use this face, right? So something worth noting. Over here, just a Decepticon logo. Over here, nothing really. On the back, nothing really, and Magnificus down here. I will show this out of interest's sake. Inside, yeah, when they say that it's plastic-free packaging, they sure mean it. We've got instructions. They too are labeled as Legacy Evolution, and they're fine. I don't know if you really need them because it's a pretty straightforward transformation for this guy. Because we previously looked at the transformation for Perceptor, going from the way he comes in package, which is robot, to his other modes, well, we're going to kind of go backwards this time around. Just so we're clear, I looked at 86 Perceptor in episode 967. So if you do need help going from robot to microscope or tank mode, then you can certainly check that out. Also, when we see him side by side with Perceptor, I'll note now, thanks to our buddy Joe, We had a couple of upgrade kits that got incorporated on him. We looked at them somewhat recently in episode 1035. And so we're going to start our guy out in his tank mode. This is the, like, traditional hidden mode. One thing I do like about this tank mode better than the Perceptor use is that the treads are black. Now, I get it. I mean, most of this guy is black. But, I mean, the 86, like, the treads are red. I get why, because they're trying to keep the red silhouette of the leg. But it's a bit too bad that at least the tread itself wasn't black. Just, I don't know. It would have added to the, I don't want to say realism, because this isn't a very realistic tank, but it would have added to this suspension of disbelief, right? Nevertheless, in this mode, I don't think there's any tires. No, there's not really any tires, so you would just have to slide it along. This can move up and down. You can put the blaster really in the screw hole here. This does not work, again, much like it was with Perceptor. It would be really nice if this guy had come with some sort of a little version of Gamede. And if you don't know who Gamede is, I'll get into it in a little bit. I don't know, stick a Gamede right there, you know? It's something that they definitely could have done with the Titan's Return mold if they had done that mold as Magnificus. You could have made the head as Gamede, right? You know, kind of like they did with Metal Hawk and Professor Go. Like, the Titan's Return Metal Hawk, his head is Professor Go, which makes sense. They could have done the same sort of thing. Nevertheless, this is the 86 mold, and, like, it's pretty good. I do love all the red paint here on the chest. I think that's beautiful. So, we'll go from him looking like, you know, this to his microscope mode, I guess, is probably the best way to go next, and then we'll go to robot. Should be very straightforward to get there. We pick this leg off, and we bring it all the way forward. You will notice that, maybe I can pick this one off and bring it forward as well. You will notice that we have a peg right there on the gray of the forearm. That goes into this hole up right here on the leg when you fold it back. So, something certainly worth noting. Then we will sit our guy up like this, straighten those up like that, and that's about it, really. This is our this is our microscope mode. I'm just going to adjust things slightly because the top of them is sort of gone off camera screen here. Right, I mean, it looks like a microscope just like Perceptor. I really wish that this armature had more motion to it. I said the same thing with Perceptor. Like, I wish it could go side to side. It can't, just because of the way it is. I wish this worked, because honestly, that was one thing with the Titan's Return that I liked, is that you could turn this. And you could even look through. Not that it really worked, but you could certainly move it, and this little lens piece would move. It could move all around. I did like that feature. So, I mean, one thing here that I kind of like less is, and more so with Magnificus than Perceptor, because with Magnificus, this is very significant. One of Magnificus's big abilities is that he can use his microscope lens, I guess, and pull things that are like subatomic into it and then kind of like project them out larger. As a matter of fact, he took Gamede, who was part of like a royal family on a world in like the subatomic universe, and he was like going to be overthrown, or like there was family strife, something like that. And he pulled Gamede, a subatomic entity, living creature, whatever you want to call it, out through his lens and increased the size so that he would fit in better with our dimension, or, well, his dimension. And what they ended up doing, I think in 2003, maybe 2004, might have been a BotCon, maybe like e-hobby, something like that. It was one of those sort of exclusive things. There was a version of Gamede that was released. It was a reuse of like Microman, or a Microman mold, and that was in 2004. It's basically a G.I. Joe size, from what I understand. So I don't know. Maybe take a spare G.I. Joe and customize it, or release a 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe as Gamede to go with this guy. Something along those lines would be cool. He looks human, but he's not actually human because he was subatomic, right? So I mean, it is what it is. This guy, Magnificus, well, long story short for him, he was like a military ruler over Cybertronian settlement starts with an M. Hold on, I'll get it in a second. What was the name of it? Nebion, there you go. Or Mebion, I should say. And he had people who didn't like him, or other bots that didn't like him. He got ousted and ended up like in fight pits, and like became a very skilled combatant. It was while he was sort of exiled to the fight pits that he somehow found out about Gamete and the subatomic universe and pulled him out. And now the two of them are a team for revenge, basically, right? So it is what it is. It'd be nice to have a Gamete with him. Okay, let's go to the robot mode, because that was a lot about the history there. We can begin by pushing the chest piece up. This chest piece, very tight here. Also, because this is the body that could be used for Shattered Glass Perceptor, you know, if you had a Shattered Glass Autobot logo and you wanted to cover the Decepticon logo there and up here, I mean, go for it, right? We bring these forward and down, turn the thighs, bring up the toes. So that's the lower body done. I'm going to stand this guy up and reposition the camera so that we can finish the upper body. Okay, so lower body was simple, so is the upper body. We unpeg an arm and we unpeg an arm and we bring out a fist, and same over here, we bring out a fist. I find that these are tolerance just right. I felt like they were a bit tight on Perceptor. Then we open that out, bring this down, and bring this shoulder up and swivel it down. Over here, we basically what do I have done here? What do I have done here? Oh, my mistake. So we bring that out, and then using this other pinned hinge, we bring this in. My mistake. Take the blaster out of the peg hole there. Again, bring the shoulder up. Oh. Peg it in, down, and then we come here to the back. A lot of people don't like the hollowness in the back, but it really kind of needed to be done for the head to work. Why is this head not coming out now? There we go. Bring it all the way up, turn it around. Personally, if the blaster's not in his hand, to fill this in on the back, if you don't have an upgrade kit, I just put it there, right? It does fill the back in pretty nicely, actually, and bring down his matter, I don't know what we call it, enlarging microscope lens, I suppose. And boom, in the end here we have Magnificus in his robot mode. And yes, indeed, here he is next to Perceptor. You can see that this pearlescent paint, I guess the sheen on that is the exact same on both of them. It looks gorgeous. It's an off-white, but man, it's so unique. So there you go. You can see that the two heads are in fact different. And yes, this guy, as mentioned earlier, does have some upgrade kits. Somewhere in the video here, I'm probably already after putting in a couple of cards by now if you want to check out the upgrade kits and Perceptor himself. But since the focus is on our boy here, let's get into scores for him. The transformation, I'm giving it a 10. I know it's simplistic, but it's logical, it makes sense. Everything moves easily. You can flip him between all three modes very quickly. And he makes a rewarding looking microscope, looks great. He makes a rewarding looking version of the Perceptor tank, looks great. And he makes a great looking robot. So, very strong start as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to his fiction, I mean, he's been in the comics, really. I guess he's part of like the Japanese continuity via eHobby, but in essence, we really have to kind of score this guy based on, I think, the G1 release, because that's probably the most accurate here. Though, to be fair, the Reveal the Shield version of Perceptor did get a release in Japan as Magnificus as well. Nevertheless, really, Magnificus came with Gamete in like 2003, 2004. It's kind of really when he started to sort of gain steam. How does this guy compare to that? Well, let's keep in mind that we are missing stickers. So blue and red detail missing off the leg. Some detail missing off like the side of the arm over here. I feel like this is what Magnificus would have looked like had he appeared on the G1 cartoon. But because we can't really compare it to the G1 cartoon, And because, honestly, gamete is missing, I'm going to say that the look of this guy is about a 9, maybe 8.75. Because truth is, even in microscope or tank mode, when his toes are flipped down, we should have the gray pieces there, right? And we don't. So 8.75 we'll say, and a 10 for the transformation. He's still scoring really great. I mean, balance out 8.75 and 10. I don't know. We'll say the guy's about a 9.3. What about the articulation for him? Head goes left, head goes right. It can look a little up and a little down. It's more of a wiggle up and down. This can move down. It doesn't. I wish it could move side to side. It really can't. That's unfortunate. The arms can go all the way around, out to the side. 90 degree at the elbow, bicep swivel. Wrist rotation? No, I don't think we have wrist rotation. That's a bummer. I probably said it was a bummer with Perceptor as well. Waist we do have. Legs can go all the way out to the side, no problem. All the way back, no problem. All the way forward, no problem. Knee over 90 degrees and all nice molded in knee joint too. I really, really like that. Thigh swivel, and as you've seen when I pushed this guy the wrong way, I mean, I don't know, if you want him to stand like that, I mean, he has this like, I can cross my leg. I guess if you want him to like cross his legs or something, right? So he has that weird hinge. It's for transformation, but nevertheless he has it. Oh, and of course our guy has very deep ankle tilt along with toe tilt because of transformation. Wrist would have been nice. Honestly, outside of a wrist, I don't really think there's much more I could want. I'm going to say that 9.5, I guess. He was getting like a 9.3, so he's like a 9.4 overall. He is great. Now, all of that said, well, I think he is great, and I thought Perceptor was great. If you don't like simple transformations, if you are somebody who likes something more complex, then you're probably not going to say the transformation's a 10. You're probably going to say it's a 1 or a 2, because you're going to say it's too simple. For me, I think it is the most logical transformation scheme that we have gotten for a Perceptor yet. Might not be the most interesting, but the most logical, and that's why I gave it a 10. Overall score for the guy, 9.4 for me. I think he's a slam dunk, man. And here we are once again, and here he is. So again, it's up to you kind of what iteration you want this guy to be. For me, he's going to be Magnificus. I'm cool with him being like a main Decepticon version, doppelganger, if you will, of Perceptor. I'm cool with that. I like the alternate head sculpt being used for him. I wouldn't have been happy had they used this head sculpt for a Perceptor because I'm an animation accurate guy. But I'm really cool. Like, I found it really cool that they used it here just to differentiate him just a little bit. Of course, his shoulder-mounted telescopic lens, I guess. I think that that's really cool how that's able to also have a role in kind of mass shifting stuff. It would be really, really neat to have a gamete to go with this guy since he does have a partner. And, you know, the duo seeks vengeance on a whole lot of people. I think that the black and the gray play off each other nicely. Hopefully this gray doesn't turn. I love the pearlescence of the white, I'm going to call it. Ivory? I'm not sure what exact color it is, but man, is it gorgeous. Gorgeous on Perceptor, gorgeous on this guy. Yeah. I mean, it's everything that I like about Perceptor done in a black and gray motif that I think works very, very well. For me, he's an absolute win. Is the transformation kind of simplistic? Yes, but it's also logical and makes sense for Perceptor. There's no need to over-engineer it. If there's an easy way to do it and a fun way to do it to get to a rewarding robot, a rewarding telescope, and even a rewarding odd tank, well, then I call that a mark of success. What do you think about the Generation Selects Magnificus? Are you using him as Magnificus? Are you using him as Shattered Glass Perceptor? Did you pass this mold altogether? I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Don't forget, man, to hit the subscribe button, stick around. Please have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day. You right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here, inside the videos.